Happy Saturday, almost said Friday, because I usually do my live streams on a Friday. So today we've got an exciting day planned, evening, wherever you are in the world. I have two guests, only one here at the moment. One is joining in a moment, but we are going to get started. So I have the awesome, I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, and my wife is looking at me from the corner because she's going to laugh. Shashi, how was it? Out of 10, like 6? No, 3?
That's fine. I get so many pronunciations. I'm just like, as long as you know who I am, I'm okay.
Okay, no worries. We all know who you are. So that's cool. So thank you so much for joining. I'm super excited to do the reviews. And we also have, I'm going to pronounce this name wrong as well. This is a terrible start to a live stream. Elise. Elise, is that correct? Elise.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was like 5 out of 10, maybe 4 out of 10.
Eddie, don't
We're
worry.
getting there.
I got it wrong too. Yeah.
It's
Cool.
upsetting,
Thank you. Well, we'll keep practicing throughout this live stream.
I hear
and
you.
Why don't you both introduce yourself, and we'll go from there so people know who you are. And I'm going to drop your GitHub links in the chat as well, so people can drop you a follow as well.
Yeah.
But your link should also be in the description, everyone. So do go check them out. So who wants to go first?
You can go first, Alyssa.
Oh, hi everybody. Good morning or good evening. My name is Alyssa Arukhan, and I am a fresh developer. I started my coding journey in high school, probably around the same time MySpace peaked. So I went ahead and, I got into the world of design and really loved the idea of being able to like change my layout. So I didn't know what I was doing. I actually don't know how I came across it, but like I would go on MySpace and I would see somebody's layout and I'd right click, view source, and then like just look at their code and try to implement it into my own code. And that process was really exciting for me. So I ended up kind of teaching myself how to work with like HTML and with like CSS attributes. And then when I went to university, I ended up going to psychology. And prior to that, I was going to go into computer science, but I didn't feel like I was smart enough to continue with that. So I ended up going a different direction. And, after like 6 years of professional experience in the industry, I ended up circling back to coding after I came across somebody who went to like a coding boot camp. And so I parted ways with my career that I thought was my dream job. And then, rest is history. I ended up taking a 10-week boot camp in Python and data science. And then I didn't know what direction I was going. I went to Twitter, did 100 days of code. And that's where I met Shashi and Eddie. And Shashi in particular changed up everything for me by kind of like telling me that there's no such thing as a full stack developer and I should anchor my attention into one area. Yes, all the credit goes to you, Shashi. And now I'm studying JavaScript and React, and I will be starting my internship in less than 10 days now. Very exciting.
That's awesome. We can't wait to follow your journey on Twitter and on your tech adventures and how it all goes. Everyone, I have just dropped in the chat the Twitter handles as well.
Thanks for that, Alyssa. I did say there's no such thing as a full stack developer. What I think I meant to say was it's very hard to start off being a full stack developer. But yeah, I think coming on like that allowed you to really just strip your focus, and that's great. But just about myself, I am Shashi. Shashi Lo. I'm a senior UI engineer. I've been in the industry for about 15 years. Started off as a web developer, and then moved on to more software engineering, and then working for some agencies as well. And so now I found myself really just focusing on the front end, more so on like UI, UX engineering. I really enjoy just bringing designs to life. Also, I've been doing portfolio reviews every Friday. So this is like a great way to help Eddie and be a part of this as well. It's just doing reviews. I really want to give back to the community as well. That's something that I wanted to do. Be more active on Twitter. Is just providing like honest and actionable feedback, just good constructive criticism, because that sometimes, I mean, most of the times when you submit something, your colleagues or your friends or family are just like, oh, that looks great, that looks good, and then you're like, okay, cool. But in reality, like sometimes it doesn't look the greatest, and sometimes it doesn't function the best, right? And you need somebody experienced to come in and say, hey, like this looks good, but if you want to improve, or you want to make this better, or you want this to stand out, these are some steps and some ways that I suggest you to do. And that's what I've been trying to provide, because I want everybody to succeed, because like I tell everybody too, like there's room for everyone in tech, but we have to help each other get there. And if we're not going to be honest sometimes, then it's going to be harder for those people to reach that point. It's going to take them much longer. So there's just some things that I've been doing.
That's awesome. And you've both been like super active in the community. Both of your names come up so much and so many conversations that I have as well, which I think is awesome. And in a good way, like they come up in a really good way. So that's just so awesome. And I love that you're both kind of, sharing your journey, sharing tips and giving back to the community. And it's just great to have so many different perspectives in the community. And like you said, we can all succeed together. I don't see it as only a certain amount of people can succeed. I really believe as well that lots of us can succeed. And giving that feedback, I think, is really important, which is why, today we're going to be reviewing people's projects. We have got loads of stuff. So to just give you a bit of an idea of how I do these, and for people who are new here listening, the plan is we will go through starting off with the oldest first and work forwards. And then for the last, 20, 30 minutes, we'll pick some people from the chat and look at their GitHub profiles or their open source project as well. So we will get to everyone in the chat. So do stick around. We will pick some of yours as well shortly, but we're going to go through the ones that were submitted on GitHub. How does that all sound to you?
Sounds great. Excited.
Awesome. So I'm loving everyone chatting in the chat. Everyone do say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're from as well, where you're dialing in from. But it's great that it's great to see lots of everyone saying hi to each other and stuff. That's awesome. Okay, let's get started. Right, I'm keen to cover as many as we can as possible. So we can go to the oldest one first. Let's have a look. What is this? This is a GitHub profile. So I will need to make notes. Actually, I want to share the link in the chat, and then maybe you can both put down your notes in the issue as well, so they can get to see it from different perspectives. So let me, this is their profile. Let me just grab this link and share it in the chat as well. Here we go. Awesome. So what's your first impressions?
I like that this profile, has a header. So we're introducing ourselves to a crowd. We talk about, things in like our background. I think that's very typical, and also, recommended that you talk a little bit about yourself on your GitHub, almost like, a little bio, and it's all related to his coding career. So we're a computer science engineer, magical code that breaks, a little personality. I like that. Discord. So you can tell that he's somebody who works within a community, which is, I think it's important, because that is the nature of the job. I imagine like you are working with a team. And so being active in communities is an important aspect. And Shashi, you want to take everything.
I really love the photo, by the way. It's the first thing that jumped out at me. I mean, I always think having a kind of like a professional photo like this is important. But this photo, like you said, with the I write magical code that breaks, but also the photo seems to kind of mirror that, in that you can, like you said, they got a real personality. So I really like the selfie photo. I think it's just really good. I do like it.
It is really nice. I think people should be able to, showcase their personalities. And to me, this strikes me as like a dynamic, because, it's not the typical headshot. And, I don't think we're robots, so I think we should have every place to kind of show, reveal a little bit about our personal lives. And this guy seems to be somebody who's very social and bright and just vibrant. So I really like that about him.
Yeah, I agree with you guys too. It's the photo alone, like it's a more unique one, and it because like I'm on dark mode, and that photo stands out a lot because the gray that I have, all the other content is kind of like dimmed down white, and then that photo is really bright, and so it draws my eye there right away. That is the first thing I see. And then just being able to it's nice and simple, the intro nice and simple, who he is. It just drills down, really pretty simple. I mean, it looks good. It's pretty good.
I have two constructive criticisms for it though. I think there's a lot of white space wasted on the right. I think maybe they could put the technical insights to the right and make it a bit shorter, and they're not part of the Eddie Hub GitHub org. So that's obviously a minus. Yeah, but that's really good, right? They've got a description. They're using, I don't know where this is, but they've got locations. I could check time zones, which I think is always important. I always like to know which time zones people are in, so I know. Oh, are they, busy or are they just asleep? So I've always found that quite useful. And they've got having their link to their GitHub doesn't quite make sense here, I think, because we're on their GitHub already. So probably change that to something maybe a bit more useful. And they got Twitter here as well. So they're making use of that space, which I think is great. Let me make some of these notes because otherwise I'm going to forget. So you can see lots of great feedback from the community already. So let's have that. Remind me. So what would it say? We like the photo. The photo was great.
Yeah, it was
stands out.
Bright and genuine. Yeah, and like Alyssa said too, like it shows his personality.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you with the white space because I'm on a my screen's pretty big, so there's a lot of space over there. That state, like white space is good too at the same time, but in this case, I feel like you want to get your viewer down to your projects a little faster. And then the first fold right now, all I see is the content, and that space could be utilized so that your pin projects are up higher.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, because it will bump everything up like quite a bit. Like if I'm in Safari, but I'm pretty sure I can do this in Safari as well.
Yeah. I really like that that this person put on their Spotify. I wouldn't think to put that on my profile, but I hear that you can tell a lot about a person by the music that they like in their playlist. So I think that is a very nice touch.
That's true. That's something I should probably add to mine as well. I think there's a GitHub action you can do which updates it with recent stuff. So there is some magic that can happen there. So I've just deleted that from there just to see what it looks like. Yeah. And you're right. Now on my screen, which is a laptop, like I think a 13-inch laptop, you can see now that it has bumped up to the pinned ones. And also maybe the pinned ones, I always recommend not having 6. Right? I always recommend like having 2 or 4. I think 6 is quite a lot. And again, it will bump it up a bit further again to see it.
That's a great point, Eddie, because that's kind of what I do with portfolio reviews too. I'll be honest, like with GitHub profiles, I'm not as experienced in it, but it's very similar to portfolio reviews that I've done, where a lot of people put 6 to 10 projects on, and I'm like, hey, hold on, like I would recommend just 2 or 4, like showcase your top projects, right? Because you don't want to leave any room for your user to click on something that isn't your top project. Because the featured and pinned items, those are like, this is my best stuff. If they want to dig in more, they can do that with your repositories, because like you have 84 repositories, and so they can do that. But yeah, I agree. Like top 2 in this case is perfect, because then if they really want to see your contributions, they can get there much quicker as well. And just showing your top 2, then you leave no room for error. They can get to your best work right away.
Exactly, I agree. So yes, you want to make it easy for the person kind of checking you out, be it a profile, resume, GitHub profile, whatever it is, portfolio. Mm-hmm. And you're right, we should definitely make it not. I mean, so even on that note, 2 to 4 might be quite a lot. Maybe 2 is better. Definitely not an odd number though, because I think it's weird when you have that kind of white gap
Yeah.
on the side. Definitely make use of the space going across from left to right. Okay, I am just going to submit this, and we can go on to the next one unless there's anything else you'd like to add.
That's a new concept to me. Like pinning your first 6. I think I have 6 on my profile.
Oh, we should check it out. Or we should both do both of yours. Yes, good point.
And then I can reveal to everyone that I haven't done enough to my GitHub. Yeah, I think it's important to showcase, because I think, and I think Shashi and somebody else another senior engineer that reviewed my profile, I think it's important to have your anyone who's recruiting you or looking at your profile get a good idea of you. And that's going to be hard to accomplish when you are showcasing a bunch of projects. So when you stick to the 2 to 4 limit, then it really gives an opportunity for them to like dive in and look at what your abilities are. And when you like increase your spread, then like when people are looking through profiles and like repositories, it's going to be really hard to dive deep. So yep.
Yeah, that's very true. Everyone watching, if you want us to review my guest's GitHub profile, let us know in the chat, and we can maybe sneak those in as well. Other thing I was going to mention was this graph down here. I was just going to make a note in my comments that it's very commit heavy. I think it's important to try and get it more averaged, obviously not perfect, but try and do some issues, pull requests, and code reviews and so forth. I think it just shows a more well-rounded person. Just my last thoughts on that. Okay, so let's close that. We'll move on to the next one. There you go. Loads more have just appeared. Every time we do one, like 5 more appear. Okay, I have to do more of these. Oh, this is another GitHub profile. Okay, awesome. I do like looking at GitHub profiles. So loads of comments, which is great. Okay, who wants to go first?
First of all, how did you get there?
Oh, you guys are looking at your own screens. I should probably.
What do you mean? How did I get where?
Did you just go to it? Oh, okay, your issue.
Oh, looking at the.
Do you want me to share the link in the chat as well?
Yes, please.
We've got Debbie saying yes. Awesome.
Hey, Debbie.
Yeah, she gives some shout outs. It's great to have everyone here. We have Sean is not staying for long. You've got a headache. Sean, definitely get some rest. Pradumna, always super supportive on Twitter and YouTube. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Same with Krish. Awesome to have you here. Kendrip, Avanesh, Rohan, definitely the usual suspects, and some new people as well. Gathin as well. Who else? I probably missed lots of people. Carl, awesome to have you here. Carl is doing a lot of stuff on the Eddie Hub projects as well. And says the graph isn't as balanced as it was a month ago. We'll have to have a look and see how it's going. Which way is it unbalancing? It'd be quite interesting. Okay, awesome. Yes, so let us know what are your thoughts on this. I know what my first thought is, but it'd be interesting to know if we all say the same thing or not.
I like this profile picture. It's professional. 6 to the standard, and I don't know. I feel like you could tell a lot about a person from their the profile alone. And to me, this strikes me as somebody who's confident, and having that professional photo like on the other end of the spectrum can do a lot for your profile, right? I really like that. He talks about his background in his mini bio under his screen. And so you have like our languages, and I think it's always important to include like your skills. And that's my feedback so far. How about you folks?
So Eddie, I want to ask you, when you come on to a GitHub profile, is the first thing you look at the projects? And it's not really like the bio. Like you want to, your basically your attention when you go to GitHub profile is I'm gonna go see who they are, but I want to see their projects right away. Is that pretty true?
No, actually, it's not.
Okay.
It used to be, but not anymore. Not for a while, actually. So, like, for example, for this profile, the first impression that I get immediately is they haven't customized their GitHub profile, even if it's just like one sentence or whatever it is. For some reason, that just I don't know. It's like a friend taking you to the airport, and they arrive in their car, and their car is just, it's not clean. It's like, they haven't made an effort and so forth. They've got like the kids' kind of clothes like all over the car. Like, I don't know. For me, having a customized GitHub profile, no matter how small it is, even using the default template that GitHub gives you, you just fill in a bit of the information. For me, that's fine. And it also allows other people then to contribute to it as well. So for me, the first impression is, okay, they didn't customize the GitHub profile. And then I'd go to the description as well. You're absolutely right. And then what I would do, even before the looking at the repos, I go look at kind of activities, and I want to see what type of things are they doing. Are they only ever like, they don't have the contributing graph here? Are they only ever doing issues, or are they only ever doing commits? I want to see if it's balanced or not, and then I'll start digging deeper into seeing what area I'll dig into. Because I usually look for three things when I dig deeper. I look for their latest code. Doesn't matter how good or bad it is. I just want to see from 3 months ago, is it better? So now look at a similar sort of project or code from 3 months ago and just see, has it improved? Again, I just want to see that they're improving. Then also I want to look at how they raise an issue. Do they give context? Someone coming to the project for the first time, seeing the issue, does it make sense? Like, do they explain themselves? Obviously not like kind of War and Peace, like 10 pages, but is it concise but really clear? And then I also want to see how they review someone else's pull request. It's great to give constructive feedback, but also how do they give it? Do they give it in a friendly sort of way, in a collaborative way? So those are the things that I really look for. So yeah, it's not the normal things that code is such a small part of what I actually look for.
That's really good. That's really interesting because like for me when I come on, I think I'm probably early on because like right away when I saw this, I saw popular repositories. I didn't see like pin repositories, right? So now I don't know like if this is his best work or not. I just know that this is the most popular, but that doesn't mean that it's the best work, right? So but then also like just that, and then I would go to the left to look at the profile and say, okay, let's see who you are. Okay, gotcha. And then then I would go down. Is there a way to move the activity up, or no? It has to be down.
No, the way it flows is the custom, and then kind of. I haven't seen popular repositories in a while. I've always thought it was pinned. Maybe it's popular if you turn it on and you haven't
Oh
pinned
yeah,
anything
agreed.
potentially.
I think it's when you pinned it's something you manually have to do. And I remember because like my GitHub looked like this. It's you have to be intentional with that action. So when I see this profile, I see that like maybe he hasn't had enough time in GitHub. We don't have like that header, that introductory statement like we saw in the last profile. So I think that would be extremely helpful to have so that we have a better sense of like who this person is. And inside like popular repositories, and like I'm sure that they're gonna pin these tweets. This was a lot. That's better. Pin these projects. I think it's important to also include descriptions for all of them, even if it's just like a short sentence.
Mhm.
We want to talk about what is core Java? What is that, Java? Core Java? What is core Java? What is Java advanced feature? Like let's like have like a short description in those so that when the cards show up, I can say that this is for this is for this, and if whatever I'm interested in, like I don't have to guess, right? So we want to be more descriptive in these in all of these projects. I think it's really cool though that GitHub automatically has like the kind of an overview of what each project contains, like TypeScript, Java, I know it has like that percentage, like HTML, CSS, of how much of the project or the technology or the language there is present in that project. So I think that's pretty good, a pretty cool thing that GitHub does. But yeah, I think this could, definitely use more love, and I think it's really good where they're starting though. I think having something at all is important to have. So
That's true. Okay, let me make some notes on this. And we do have a question from Carl. Do you lose your stats when transferring the ownership of a repo, like with the issue finder? No, you shouldn't, because the commits are still down to you. So even if you did, I don't know, did a project with say 100 commits and they're all you, if you transfer it to me, for example, all the commits on GitHub are still referenced to you. So no, you shouldn't lose any of those stats, is my understanding. So no, it should all still should still all stay. Let's say. Let me make some notes on this, and we can move on to the next one. So you'll have to remind me. Looks good. So we said great profile picture. Picture looks professional. Profile is not customized. We've got the description that we said. What else did we say? Hasn't got any social links. No social links in the profile. Oh, and descriptions of the repos. I think that's really important. Like this is so important, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like the same thing when I do portfolios too. When people don't have like descriptions, it's hard for us to know. Like even especially on GitHub, or you don't have a screenshot, right? All you have is a title. So you really need to be descriptive to entice me to want to click through and figure out like what this project is.
Exactly. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
I have to open a StreamYard profile to reply to comments, right?
Oh, do you?
I'm not sure. I'm not able to reply to the comments.
Do you want the YouTube link?
I think I have. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, sure. That'll be great.
Yeah, do it on YouTube as well.
Okay, let me grab the YouTube link as well. There we go. I'll put it in the private chat for both of you.
Nice. Perfect.
There we go. But good question, Carl. I think it's something that people do think about and worry about. No, Debbie, you're awesome. It's I've seen some of your comments; they're really good. I write in bullet points because I like to read in bullet points. I like things like really short and sweet. So when I send notes to Sarah, I send her in bullet points. So and then she makes it into proper text. Cool, getting shout outs as well. By the way, everyone, if you want to get some engagement on Twitter, take a screenshot and tag us and share some of the things that you've tips that you've learned from our conversations, and I can give a like and I'll retweet some of them as well. So maybe we should do a quick pose. Are you both ready? Just hold a pose. Is that you two posing? Am I the only one making an effort? Got a pose. Pull the pose.
Oh, pose. Oh, sorry.
Oh, my bad. It's late at night for me. I'm a bit sleepy.
Okay.
Hopefully someone's taking a screenshot.
If it's not us taking it, who is?
Perfect. Yeah, it's almost Sunday for me. Okay, let's move on to the next ones. They got, okay, we can pick because they've actually put in more than one. And we actually, is it more than one? Oh no, it's deployed version. And we've got a repo this time. Oh, that looks like a profile rather than the repo though.
Oh, the repo is, yeah.
Oh, it's an organization. Okay, but it's got nothing there. So, okay, we're gonna, repo link doesn't work, we'll move on. But it has worked obviously before, they obviously moved it or renamed it because Emma's given some feedback and so forth. But yeah, definitely doesn't work anymore. Link no longer works.
Oh, here.
That was an easy one. Posted project link. Okay, we've got a repo this time. Let's have a look. Okay, so what are your thoughts on this one, both of you? What are your first impressions?
Is this the home screen?
Yes, this is the landing page for the repo.
Oh, so it looks like we don't have a README for the the page.
It is. It'll be because of all the long files. It's actually below,
Ah.
and I've made the page slightly bigger. I've zoomed in a bit as well, so
I see.
just to make it easier for the live stream. Lots of badges, which is good. I do like my badges.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of badges on people's pages. So when I see them, then I already know that this person, had put a lot of time into their project. So I really like that piece. Looks like open source. Let's see, what are they part of? It's hard to see in my screen. Contributor stars. So he's very active, or that person is very active on their GitHub. Let's see.
It's true, but I do like these badges actually. So if people want to get some green squares, you can add some of these badges to our projects. I don't like when it says issues like alone, because then you can just see it at the top. But what I like here, I suppose they've got open issues, which is the number at the top. But what I like is closed issues. It's actually quite interesting. So if anyone wants to add that to my projects, feel free to do that. I think that's pretty cool. Sorry, you were saying?
Oh no, I disagreeing to your points. Okay, all right. I had to put it on full screen. License, pull request. You got 2 open. This person is active, and we love active. Closed issues, 2,000, almost 3,000.
Yeah,
that's very impressive. Okay, so I already know this person had. Oh yeah, on July 2020. Okay, so we like to see like that consistent activity, and judging by this, like I can tell that like they put in a lot of time and effort into their programming journey, and I think that alone speaks for itself. I mean, they got like what is that? Almost 3,000 commits. That's impressive.
Oh, yes, you're right.
That's a lot of commits. If you, I mean, I didn't look at the history of the README, but it is there's a lot of information there. It just keeps going and going, and then it just seems like this. Oh wow, yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah,
it's a long README actually. Be one of the feedbacks would be maybe split some of that out into actually a kind of like a docs folder and actually have some documentation, because you're right, it does just keep. Okay, now it's documentation. So is that table of contents? But there's a table of contents up there. So
interesting.
I think so. Yeah, because it's not. It's just listing the calculators.
Okay.
I would love, I don't know if that's possible, but if there could, so this is the README. This is just the README alone.
It's very, very long.
It's very long.
Impressive.
Yeah, it could probably be broken down into a docs folder, and then in the docs folder has subfolders, one for this. I don't know, but then you wouldn't want so many folders, because it is just, I was thinking these were links to more information, but they're just a list.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting, because it is a long list. I mean, you could make them collapsible, but then and expandable, but then are people going to find that? Well, I suppose if you kept the high level and then have everything underneath collapsible, but then you've got kind of like sub lists as well. It's a tricky one. I think it's a hard problem to solve. I don't know the answer for that one.
I wish there were a way. I feel like the README should be extensive, but I think there should be some like visual hierarchy that like takes place, because I think as humans, our attention spans are kind of fleeting, and it's easy to kind of like look at it and like look at all these skills and just be like, okay, well, this is kind of a lot. So maybe even like how important is it to include everything that because I'm wondering like if an employer looks through this list and they're thinking to themselves like, oh, they don't like, what are the odds that they're going to be like, oh, they don't know this particular like sub data, you know what I mean? So I feel like it should be assumed that they already know these things, because and the code will speak for itself.
It's true. Let me just answer a couple of the questions in here. I'm going to jump in. So a couple of questions was, how can someone become a repository maintainer? And I think, Chris already answered this, but just to jump in, I would say add lots of value to the project, so that you're committed to that project, not just kind of a flying visit. And then eventually you'll get asked to help out. Because you can, even as not a repository maintainer, you can still do code reviews. You could do almost everything, like 90% of what you need. The only thing you can't do is merge PRs and close issues and close PRs. So you can do everything else. And so it's great for the maintainer to see that you're already reviewing PRs and adding value. And that's really important. One other question I just saw was, thank you, Tamal. Really appreciate that.
I see. Yeah. A question from Joe. Would the features be better formatted to a wiki section?
This is something I was going to come to in a moment. So yes and no. So the reason why I believe it, I'd love to hear both of your feedback, but the reason why I think this is, I think, yes, move it to a separate docs section, but I don't like using the wiki because it's a separate repo. Whereas if you put it in the docs section, it goes through pull request, it goes through all the same kind of linters or code reviews or reviews. It's not necessarily code. So yes and no on that one, Joe. So thanks for that question. I don't know what you both think about the wiki section.
I think the same thing as you. I would rather have a separate doc because then it's inside the same repo. And I mean, I'm just looking at this too. Like it's like the list of calculators. Like it just goes in detail. And oh man, I wish. It's a lot. It's great to have. It's great to be documented, but as you said, like if it can hide in like expand, that'd be better because then the list is shorter. We can get down to like documentation and how to contribute way quicker. Because I think as we know, is a lot of people when they come on website, even websites, right? Like people are not gonna scroll as much if it's this long. I don't know. You may lose somebody unless if they're very interested already, which is great. But being able to get the user to where they can see majority of your content is going to be key.
Yeah, that's really true.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, Marcus, yes, it's you can in the markdown file you can use HTML, not all HTML, but yes, it's the summary tag to make things collapsible and expandable as well. Pretty awesome. Yeah, it's quite useful. And there was one last question. I think Joe also asked one earlier that we might have missed. Where was it? I've probably lost it. Okay, sorry, Joe.
I think Joe said, is it possible to have collapsible sections?
Oh, okay. Yes, so multiple people asking for that. So yes, it is absolutely possible to do it. I actually can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, it's summary, and there's something underneath summary. So it's like 2 HTML tags. I can't think what the second one is. One of you will hopefully know. If not, we can find out. I've got it in my free GitHub course. I should remember it. But
I gotta take that, Eddie.
Yeah, do. It's only like 30 minutes long, or videos or text. It's got both. Yeah, have a look, and it's got a markdown section of things that you can do.
Yep, you were absolutely correct, Eddie.
Oh, have you looked at the tags?
Yeah, so you put in details, and then you have the summary is the title, and then
like this details.
I
don't know if it will work in a comment. Let's have a quick look. I don't think it will. She said summary test. I don't think it's going to work in a comment. Never tried.
Yeah, I'm posting in a YouTube chat. This is a repo I found that has examples of the expand collapse, and so all you gotta do is use.
It does work. Yeah, it does work. So thanks for sharing that. If you put a link in the YouTube chat, it might have disappeared. I haven't seen it come through. Oh. YouTube might remove it before it doesn't even.
It's exactly what you have. Yeah, just using Markdown, it will pick that up and it will create the expand collapse. So, and then you can use like headings too if you want in there, like every Markdown tag is inside there, so you can organize it so that it's nice and like subsections, headings, all that stuff.
Nice.
Pretty cool. So it makes it's just not like a paragraph anymore. You can actually have a collapsible, good-looking piece of content, a piece of section down there. So I would definitely highly recommend that for this repo because the details are fantastic, but at the same time it's a lot to look at. And I don't know if if somebody come in here that is not interested in linear algebra, like what if they're interested in the calculus calculator, right? Like it takes 2 scrolls or so to get there, and, and the calculus one is huge too. So yeah, and it's something I did want to bring up to Eddie is if you go to the top,
Sure.
you see the about, like this description, is that descriptive enough for you? Because obviously we know the repo's name makes math easy, but the description says solves various math problems along with steps without any server interaction.
So I'm guessing that means it's client side is what they mean. Okay. Yeah, I think that's kind of like teasing it. So people will then look further to see if it's what they want. So yeah, you can also put topics. So I see they haven't used topics. Actually, but you're right. You could put an extra sentence in the description, I suppose, to make it a bit longer. What are your thoughts? I'm guessing you're leaning towards you would like to see it a bit longer.
What's your take, Alyssa?
Bounce it around.
on our the README or the whatever.
Yeah, the description at the top, right?
I wonder if we could be more concise about that. Like, what does various math problems mean, right? Along with steps. I think if we can have this opportunity to really, I'm not too sure, because I read this and I'm like, what value can I pull from it, right? Because I can solve math problems along with steps, and like, I'm not sure what we want to put in the about, but I would think it would be like a big overview, like an encapsulation about one's work. And I think without the server interaction piece is important, but how many characters? I think that's important to know too. Like, how many characters are we working with?
I don't think there is a limit. I've seen some massive ones like come down here, which I think are way too long. So I don't think there is a limit. I mean, I can quickly have a play if we go to the support repo, and I can then just hit edit. I mean, is it a single input? But I don't remember there ever being.
Ask everyone everything.
I can keep pasting. I think that's fine. Yeah, I'm not going to save that obviously, but well, I could just to see how it looks. So it does seem quite long.
I see.
That's interesting how that description is a text field and not like a text area, like, because if you have a really long description, that's really hard to decipher, like how many lines you have, how many characters you're using. So, but yeah, I would say, like, because when I read that, I was like, solves various math problems along with steps without server. Okay, without the server interaction, I get it, it's client side, but then solves various math problems along. Like, I would like a little bit more detail, like.
Okay, let's add that in.
Like solving various math problems along, like how, like, if I go to the README, then yes, I understand it, but like I want to be a little bit more enticed, like how am I, what kind of things is it solving? Just a tad more information would be great.
Sounds good. Yes, Aditya, we are reading the chat. We might be a bit slow, but we are getting there. Kunal, great to have you in the house. Everyone, I did a video with Kunal on, I think, was it Digital Nomad or freelancing yesterday. Go check out Kunal's YouTube channel. I've got lots of great stuff on there as well. Okay, so just for the conscious of time, I want to get through a few more. And I really want to review both of yours as well. Well, we're all going to review yours. People in the chat are going to review as well. I was just going to say a few points that jump out to me as well. I don't know if you both agree. Is I always look at like tags, like releases, and this for me is quite important. So if I don't see any, I do kind of worry a bit. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Do you ever look at that? Do you worry about that?
With tags, to be honest, yes and no. I don't lean one way or the other. But if you can explain to me the benefits of,
Sure.
tags, then I would be like, okay.
Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, brilliant. And we've also got Debbie saying, what do we use releases for as well? So so when we're doing commits, we're saying this is some changes that I want to commit. Like it's a stake in the sand, right? And then a release is a collection of commits. So you've done certain commits, you create a release from a commit, and it includes everything else before that, and it's read only, so no one can ever change the release. And that's why you have kind of your semantic versioning, where you have 1.2.3, and the way it works is, again, for everyone listening, just because I've mentioned semantic versioning, one is the major release, where it's like backward breaking changes. And the second one is, so the second digit is, let me show you a quick example. I think it might be easier than me trying to do a terrible job at explaining. So if I pick one of our repos on EddieHub, I just pick, for example, the bot, and you can see we've got 65 tags or 65 releases. Let me go to releases here. So this is what I mean. So the first digit is if something's like a major release, like it's been a whole project rewrite, it's going to break it as you jump forwards. And the second one is the minor, so it's major, minor, and the minor is probably new features and bug fixes. And then the last one is kind of like a build or bug fix number. And we actually use a GitHub action to create the changelog to say what has changed, and you can link back to the commit or link back to link to the pull request or link back to the commit to actually find out what it changes. But because we deploy on every single commit, practically every pull request, these are usually quite small, so you don't see, otherwise you could see bug fixes, then features. So I'm trying to jump back. If we jump back here, you can see the numbers change, automatically calculated for us. So from 0.16.2, we had bug fixes, and then it jumped to 0.3 because it was bug fixes. But then this one was done as a feature, and that's why it jumped the minor, the middle digit. Hopefully that makes sense. But these are, when you click on it, not only do you get the change log, you can get the project at that point in time, and that can never be changed. And you can even sign these to make sure that if someone does download that version of the project, it is signed with a key to prove that it is that version, no one tampered with it, no one's interfered with it, and so forth. So that's the reason for it. Hopefully that makes sense, because I feel like I've explained that so badly and you've probably all fallen asleep. That's when you say no, that was okay. All right.
I would think Alyssa's take is, because I know exactly what you're talking about, Eddie. It's just that a lot of the companies that I've worked with, they don't use tags. And so that's why, it's kind of
interesting.
Like, yeah, like I always wanted to use tags, and like I always wanted to like really document this down. But then a lot of the companies I work with, it's just like push, right? And we don't tag anything. And so that's why I'm like, I don't know, I'm kind of iffy. But but then when you go to like plugins and if you're using an older version of that plugin, whatever, right, you can actually go down to the version in GitHub and figure out like what has changed and what did change, or what are the features that you're missing, right? Because if you're behind, you can look at all the future releases and be like, oh, if we upgrade to this, we'll get this feature, or this bug will be fixed. And that's something that's really interesting as well.
Yeah, it's great to see different perspectives on this, and it's interesting that your clients don't use that. So yeah, that's really, really interesting, because for me, I deploy the release, I don't deploy a commit. And so my GitHub action will see once something is merged into the main branch, it will then create a release and then deploy the release. So everything that's been deployed can be tied back to a specific release. So yeah, it's quite interesting. And we've got a few more questions on that subject, but either of you do jump in if I'm rushing too far ahead. Is we can use release for any type of project. Yeah, I use it for everything, and you can do it with a GitHub action. So if you do various commits in a branch, there's a pull request. Once that's merged into main, then a release is taken. So it won't be a release for every single commit. It'll be a release for a collection of commit, unless you squash. Yes, there are some varieties of way of working with it, but generally speaking, it's a collection of commits. And similar question, Akebu, awesome to have you here. Great to always geek out with you on Twitter as well. Should your tags, and by the way, I mean, I say tags or releases. So tags are referencing to Git and releases are for GitHub, but they're usually a one-to-one relationship. So just to let people know that we can use either of the words, really, generally speaking. I do have it on some of my personal ones, maybe not on all, but I think again, it just shows a bit more organization, someone's first impression. If someone's looking to hire you for a project or a job or something like that, I just think it shows a bit more organization, a bit like using the issues. If you're the only person working on the project, I still think there's a lot of benefit to us and a lot of benefit to people having a poke and look around the projects. So I'm going to say Alice. Have I pronounced it right?
Yeah, there we go. We love this. Yes. All right.
It's only taken like an hour, but you know. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on releases? Did I explain it right? Does it make sense? Does it make no sense?
Yeah. So I think it's important, right, to be more descriptive. When I see like the release notes, we want to see like improvements. Being explicit about like what has been updated, what has been fixed. So you have an idea of like what like the content of it instead of having to dig into like the source code.
This is chat from LinkedIn. I am reading it at DT. I see you're logged in on YouTube as well as LinkedIn. Thanks for supporting me on both platforms, but I am reading LinkedIn as well. It comes through in the same place for me. Timo, welcome. We're chatting to you on Twitter as well, so thanks for joining.
Oh, Timo, hey.
Hey, Timo.
Cool. Okay, so I'm going to close that. So releases was my other thing. I was going to kind of, it says tags up here and it's releases. They usually show the same thing. But that was my next thing. And the next thing I was going to say, I don't know if you both agree, is packages are shown here, but it's not used, which is fine. I don't use packages for a lot of projects because it's not a package or a library. But I think if you're not going to use it, then it should be hidden, in my opinion. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, agreed.
Like if you're not using something, I think it's better to hide it. Like with the wiki, if I click on wiki, is it used? It's not used, so it redirects back to this page. So therefore, I think just, again, hide it, make it.
This is exactly the same thing I say about personal portfolios too, Eddie, is like, don't do like a coming soon or a piece of navigation that you're not going to use, because I'm going to click on it. If there's nothing there, then it's like, oh, this feels incomplete, right? Like it just feels like you wanted to do it, but it's not there yet. So I would rather just not see it at all if it's not going to be used, because then my mind is like on only the things that are active and only things that you really want me to see.
Exactly. You want someone to focus on what you want them to see. And I've got another bit here as well. So that's always a good suggestion. If you go to Insights, I don't know if you ever look at this on projects. If you go to Community Standards, it kind of gives you some things it recommends you do on your project. And we can see it's practically a full house here. So kind of code of conduct, contributing file, license, issue templates, pull request templates. And it's got a description. So obviously doesn't check like the length or how much it makes sense. But that's also really useful to see as well. But yeah, looks good. They should do some checks. If the wiki isn't used, maybe give a suggestion, hide the wiki, and things like that. And same with the packages as well.
So I guess for our audience, how would you do that? How would you hide it? Is that in your options?
Yes, good question. And that's what someone's asked in the chat. So Dev Enforcement, thank you very much. Mm-hmm. And we've got an answer as well. People are fast, much faster than me. Yes. So thank you so much for raising that. Yes, it can be hidden not in settings up here, but in settings like the cog on the side here. You can, where you choose your topics and your description and your link, you can click and unclick the different areas that you want to appear. And then it appears and disappears. Awesome. Should we move on to the next one? Let me commit this. I think that was it. We talked about collapsing it, create releases. Okay, so I want to close that. Actually, I think we should pick your projects now, your profile, I should say. Yeah. Who wants to go first? And then we'll pick some people from the audience afterwards. So we'll do both of you first.
I can go with mine. Mine is Allyro, so ALLYROO. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. Great. Professional photo, looks really good. Customized GitHub profile, yes.
You're not gonna like mine.
Oh, no.
I've seen a lot of experienced engineers. Their GitHub profiles are like, I don't know. I imagine like a tumbleweed. They're very. That's love.
Oh yes, and Debbie's right. For the wiki, you need to do it in settings and scroll down. Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, looks good. Oh, but wait a second, you're missing something here on the left.
Missing a lot.
You didn't join the Eddie Hub organization.
Oh no!
I'm just
I
teasing.
need to join.
I'm just teasing. Oh, and you haven't got the contributing graph down here. I think you need to turn that on.
How do you do that?
I actually don't know. I did mine like ages ago.
I just did it, but I turned it off just so that it's off. There's a setting when you go into your own profile, you can turn it on. Like there's a look down.
I love that.
Which setting? I guess what down here on the right.
Where is it? I just
Settings.
Oh, contributing settings. If you go like, if you go into your own profile, and go to the public profile, Eddie.
Oh, so not this page.
Yeah, not that page.
Okay.
Yeah, just right here, and then go down to the contributions right there. You see the contribution settings right there? Yep. Right there.
Okay, got you.
And then you can turn on like private contributions. You can turn on the
activity.
I don't have that on my profile.
Mine is still loading.
Yeah, and then it will show up.
Oh, mine is generating.
Oh, yours is like massive. So it's fine.
No. Okay. Wow. Look, my code reviews and pull requests are not doing so good. So I need to definitely work on those. A big shout out to all the maintainers in Eddie Hub. They're doing a lot of the pull requests and code reviews for me. So,
awesome.
Yeah, big shout out to them. Okay, so we're not looking at my profile. Let's look at yours. So this is the template, which I'm saying to people that using the template is fine, and then you customize it with your own personal information. So I think this is great.
Needs an update.
Mine too as well. So what do you all think in the chat? Let us know. You got some support here.
Oh, Steve's here. Shashi gang.
Shashi gang.
Shashi gang.
Steve,
Dan.
Steve was making some shirts, and Steve, they did not show.
Oh, Steve too. Oh, these my favorite people.
I will show them again when I get them. But
I think you need to put that on your profile and on your header, please, Shashi. You have to put that shirt that Steve made. Hashtag Shashi gang right here. All right, so everybody knows. There we go.
Oh, let me drop your GitHub in the chat as well, so people can drop you a follow as well. You've got your Twitter, I think, below. And there's your GitHub. You got 19. Let's get you up to like 25. So I think it looks good. I think my only feedback, and again, Shashi, I'm not sure what you think, but yeah, pin maybe 2 less. Mm-hmm. So like remove 2. And join an organization, Eddie Hub, and then you can join more than one to join a few. Again, it shows the community side, I think, when you're joining some organizations. That's about it. I think it looks awesome. I think we're connected on LinkedIn as well. Let me just check as we're here. Number 2, we're not connected. Pending.
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
That is, where's the block ban button on this live stream?
Okay, so we have our friend Mia, had posted a LinkedIn, drop your link in below, and that blew up. And so like I have requests upon request in my inbox, and I keep track. I think I only approved people who had like a message and like hey, I'm from
I didn't put a message. I usually do the same. So you're right. Let me fix that.
Okay, I have to fix this.
Wait, let me fix it. Wait, can you not append message? No, I thought I could change message.
Maybe you can like withdraw and then like it'll come up again.
Okay, it's fine. But I understand that I've got like notifications on my phone. It says like 500 plus in the last few days. So yeah, I understand. This LinkedIn is a lot of. It's quite painful. You got a follow on GitHub as well. Awesome.
Oh, exciting.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, unless like the about section is really good. Tells you who you are, and emojis are huge nowadays, so it makes it easy to understand what that line item is about. And I agree with Eddie, like the pin, I would rather see 2 or 4, and for myself, maybe in this case, well, you figure it out, like if you have two really good ones or four, because I agree, you don't want to do an odd number because then there's an empty space. You want to kind of keep it even.
Yeah.
And the activity is going to be great to throw on there.
So which ones, that was my next question, like which ones would be important to maintain, right? Because like in my mind, I'm like, I want to highlight everything that I've done, right? So like I have a project, like a full stack project with Flask and my API. I have a program that I wrote with Python. It's a text-based program, and then I have what I worked on recently, the interactive pricing component, like a front-end mentor project. I have my API that I made with Python, and then I have I have my hackathon project that we started, and then my other, what's it called, like my personal project, which is the Super Bloom. And so I'm like, where do I go from here? I'm curious about like what like people have to say like is important. And my first thought, like my own response to like my own question is basically highlighting the projects and maybe having one that pertains to Python, and then maybe the other three that zeroes in on like the stack that I want to work with, right? So yeah, I think, okay, I don't know where from here. I think the hackathon is important to have though. Yeah. And I think I spent the most, like a completed project is like my, the one I did recently, the interactive pricing component. So I just answered one question.
You have, and I think that's good though, right? And I think it'd be interesting to know people in the chat. Let us know what your thoughts of how you would pick what projects to display. If you've got a maximum of 4, there are 45 repositories there. So how would you pick your best ones? By the way, you've gone to 25. Yes,
Wow,
thank you everyone.
thanks,
You're all
guys.
awesome. That's amazing.
I'm motivated. I'm actually quite embarrassed about my contribution, because I know like it's not littered with green, but like I'm really bad about pushing my code, because in my mind I close, like I do work on my on VS Code, and then I like Command S and I call it a day. And I think, okay, this sounds very trivial, but like I get overwhelmed with like what I need to say in like the commit, like when we're pushing the commit. So when I'm putting the comment, I'm like, I don't know what to say. I feel like I have to be very succinct, and like because I get like paralyzed, that's another excuse.
No, it is hard. Commit messages are really hard, but I think that just comes with kind of practice and getting feedback. That is tough. That's probably a whole live stream another time actually on that, because that is quite interesting.
I think what would be easier too is when you get a job and you have like a ticket that's based on that commit, then you can be more descriptive, because then you already have like a title or something to go off of. And then you just say like, oh yeah, this bug fixes this, and then you can be more descriptive in the details. But yeah, messages alone are tough. And I'm like you, Alyssa. I don't commit every day. Like I'll save stuff, and then if I do commit, then maybe I'll squash it later, so that they're smaller. But I don't be disappointed, because mine's not that great either.
On that note, though, in terms of commits, so one thing we use in EdiHub again, and I'll just quickly pick an example, is we use conventional commit messages. I don't know if people are familiar with that. And that's how we trigger our GitHub action to do the releases and the deployments and so forth. So we say fixed at the beginning, or if it's a chore, and in brackets you can put if it's like part of a module. And then we've also got like feature, and what else have we got? There's a few others. So the conventional changelog has like, I think like 6 or 8 ones to use, and then afterwards you put a short message, and then you tie it back to the issue number as well. So yeah, that's just on that side note. So that I find that helps if you think about it. Is it a fix? Was it a chore? Was it a feature? And then I think you're absolutely right, Shashi, with using the issue, like what you're actually trying to do. And that's why it's good to keep things small as well, I think. Focused as well. Cool. Okay. Sorry, I paused for a moment because we've got some cats fighting outside the door or something. And when you're in a tropical country, you're not sure if it's cats or lizards or geckos or Godzillas or snakes, all sorts of things. So I was like trying to pause, thinking, I have to go out soon. Out that door, I wonder what's going to be waiting for me outside.
Oh my God, that's so funny that you said that, because I like when you said like cats fighting at the door, I immediately looked at the chat. I'm like, what drama is going on in the chat? I didn't know what you meant by that.
And I've got Sarah sitting over there, and she was looking at me going like this, what's this? I'm thinking, I wonder what's fighting outside. Like, it's survival of the fittest. Yeah, exactly. We haven't got any crocodiles, I don't think, so we're okay. But we have some freaking massive, we call them Godzillas, but like lizard things. So yeah,
Oh,
it's a bit scary.
Oh,
I got chased by a frog the other day.
that is amazing. Wait, what country are you in right now?
Bali at the moment.
Bali. Okay.
Beautiful place. Beautiful place. Okay, so should we move on? And then I'm really keen to pick up people from the audience as well. So, you ready?
Oh, you can skip mine if you want.
No, we've got time. Everyone, we've got time, right?
We have to.
Oh,
This is a highlight. You're
All right.
the star here.
Shashi, SHASHI, and then
Hello. That's right.
Yep, that's right. And then LO. That's it.
Boom.
I am not very active with my GitHub, but I do have some things on there. I think for me, like I want to contribute more to like open source. Right? I want to join EddieHub and contribute more because I do want to provide more and do more with GitHub. But most of my work has been with companies, and so my contributions, like I turn on the private, but if I turn it off, well, actually it doesn't matter in this case. Like a lot of my work has been for the companies I work for, and so I have some side projects, but not too many. And then the side projects that I do have, some of them are not even on GitHub. So, like it's a fine balance of like trying to, you want to commit, you want to use GitHub more to do more stuff, but then at the same time it depends on your life and the balance too. And so that's why, like, if you look on my contributions, the July is like bright green. That's because of my work. We have an open source application, and that's all my commits to work. But if like you go to like what was it? It was a year where it was like pretty empty. Like 2019, like the beginning of that half year, it's completely empty. But that's because a lot of the work I did was private, and it's just that's what like I wish that I could do more is like to help contribute to open source.
Yeah, I think it does help when, I think it's kind of this, I don't know what the word is, but as you do more open source, you kind of get more open source clients, and then it just kind of snowballs from there and kind of, it gets, I say better, I don't know if that's the right word, but it gets easier from that point of view. But, the biggest thing that jumps out to me is not the amount of green squares, is it's not customized.
Yeah.
I think you need to fix that today. Like, it's early morning for you, right? So you got the whole of Saturday to fix it.
Yeah. I was like, I haven't customized anything. I'll just keep it this way so that it's not like I did it last second. I want to be true to myself and be like, hey, I just didn't have like, it wasn't a part of me that wanted to just think, oh, hey, I want to customize this. I knew I needed to, but I just didn't take the actions to do it. Like my life is so busy with work and my family and everything. And I haven't taken care of my GitHub. I need to take care of my GitHub better.
It's okay, Shashi. We all know Shashi works very hard for us.
It's true. It's true. You help a lot of people in the community. But you just got me thinking about answering, Elise, your question before about what repos to show. I think it's important to show a variety. Like if someone said they did a CRUD, for example, of to-do and a CRUD of, I don't know, shopping list and a CRUD of job board, and I think it's quite repetitive. Whereas if they were done in different technologies like Python and JavaScript, then that's obviously they're showing different skills. I think it's also important to show different types of, I guess, projects in that. And what I mean by that is one might be CRUD, which is fine, which is important. Most applications end up being the majority CRUD. Or someone did a chat where it's real time, I think that's also important to show. Or if there is something that has authentication or is API or front end, then it's a variety. And if you can show the better ones of each, I think that's really, really important as well. And I actually have a YouTube video on my channel about how to put open source on your resume. I think that's quite important because someone asked me that question and it really got me thinking, because you can put your GitHub link and we can, as we've all been saying it before, you can kind of pin certain repos that you want to see, but maybe there's a specific issue or specific pull request that we're really proud of, and maybe we don't have the repo in our profile because it's a repo we contributed to. So yeah, I think we definitely want to try and make it easier for the people we want to see our great work. So how we do that is different for everyone else. I see that, no excuses. Yeah, exactly right. Everyone, put a bit of pressure on.
Very true. It doesn't even take that long too. And
exactly.
So.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Thank you both so much for sharing. Right, let's bring up some people profiles. I like your picture, by the way. Very cool.
Yes, we love a mohawk. Very strong one.
Look at my description. Father of babies with natural mohawks.
I didn't share your link. Sorry, let's get you share your link and get you some more followers as well. But also, you haven't joined EddyHub as well. Oh, it makes me cry.
You know, I was trying to sneak that in, but I was like, no, I don't want to make Liz feel bad. So.
Awesome. Okay, I've just refreshed, and you went from 17 to 20. So hopefully, we'll get you up 25 as well. Okay, next up we have. Okay, thank you so much. You have been here before. You know my streams. We don't take the GitHub username anymore. We take the number, so therefore I can log it and we can. What do you call it? Right, it's a 3507. So let me close this. Let me just open a random one and go 3507. Here we go. Okay, it's I think it's a repo. Oh, and this one has opened 9 days ago, has no feedback yet. Okay, so this is good. We'll be the first people to give feedback. So both of you, what do you think? What are your first impressions?
First impression. Let's see.
I think the about is it's good, like where we have it online for it's straight to the point. And listing technologies. I think that's how it should look like. You know, when we're looking at a repository, we want to have an idea, just a short overview of like what we're looking at, and then like listing those technologies. I think those are probably the two most important things, if not probably the only things we want in that about section, I imagine. And then we have like that link.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a link if it's a deployed version. 100%. Absolutely.
If you can, I think it's important to like deploy every project because we don't want to assume that like the person that who is looking at our code and wants to look at our project is gonna, you know, clone our entire repository. So I think it's important to.
I'm gonna want to. I'm sorry, like I need a link.
Vercel is awesome.
I haven't used it.
It's really, really, really easy. And Clarence showed me how to do it, and being able to like go in, less work for the person is probably like the path that we all want to take, right? So
exactly. I do really like this. Got animated GIF in the README. Like this is like awesome stuff.
All right, so that brings up this question I have: is it GIF or is it GIF?
I don't mind as long as it's in there in the README. I'm happy. They can call it whatever they want.
It's GIF.
But I saw that too, and it really drew my eyes there. It's because then I can interactively see what this project is without even pulling it up. And it allows me to be like, hey, you know what? This looks pretty cool, right? Or it could be like, oh, you know, I saw it, I'm out of here. But it, like I always say, like you want to get users to do one less click, right? Because every click that they do, every scroll that they do, it accounts for how long they stay on your project or your website alone. And by doing like giving the user more to work with without even interacting, that's a big win.
Yeah, you're right. You just make it easier as possible. So there's a link deployed version of the project. But even I think an animated GIF again just makes it so much easier for people to see, or even a screenshot.
Yeah.
They can see, do they want to go further? So yeah, that's cool. And they've got test credentials. They've got features.
Wow.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. We love emojis. We love a header with emoji.
Yeah, it looks good.
I'm inspired.
I would say hide the wiki is being used. I was going to say hide the wiki. No, don't hide it. You're actually using it. So that looks good. I'll probably say move it to the docs folder, but it's better than nothing. If discussions are kind of used as well. Okay, looks good. Yeah, no tags, but that's fine. It still might be early days. It was 6 days ago, so the project's still active.
I know. I was like 6 days. Oh man, he's.
It started 3 months ago, though. Sorry. 6 days was the last activity.
I see. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at too.
Yeah, no, I think it looks good. The only other thing I was going to say was, I forget. Can't remember. It's got a license. Oh, we can check insights as well. So we can go. Everything's pretty much done. Okay, it hasn't got pull request template, but again, not the end of the world. Yeah, looks good. What's their name? How to pronounce their name? Anubav. Thumbs up. Looks good. I should make some notes actually on the ticket, right?
Those are great.
What did we say? I forgot what we said now. Great to have the. I did see some people in the chat. If it's a GIF, I'll put both in so we don't upset anybody. GIF or GIF. Okay,
Shashi loves his debates. He loves to start.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What else did we say?
The test credentials I think are really good because when you go to a site and you don't have those, like you don't want to sign up for something, just for trying out. And so to have that, it's like, oh, okay, I just use this.
Yeah, that's very true. I wonder how they reset it if someone makes any changes to the project or anything like that.
Yeah.
Do they reset it like every night? Or a lot of projects do that. So every 24 hours, they reset the data if someone's changed stuff and so forth. But yeah, it looks good. Best credentials are a great idea. There we go. I'll give it a thumbs up as well.
There we go.
And then also, like what you were mentioning too, Eddie, is the usage of all the tabs and hiding items that he's not utilizing. It's really good because then it's concise, right? We know that all these things are utilized, and it's even though it's only been 3 months, and you kind of know like this everything that's here is there's content, there's stuff there. There's no areas where it's like, oh, am I missing something here? Did this not work?
Exactly. So I'll just say release is probably the only other thing to use. I think issues are being used to labels. That looks really good. Yeah, no, I think that looks good. Okay.
Good job.
Move on to the next one. Who have we got up next? Look.
I should put my repo on that link so that people can
You should.
feedback.
Definitely. RG, and then you got GIF.
Okay.
What have you started?
I looked this up, and I have to concede because I guess it's GIF. In my mind, I'm like graphic image file. So I'm like GIF, but it seems to be okay. I guess I'm calling it GIF. I've been moved.
Another great question from Debbie. Does it break anything if you change the repo name? So in terms of GitHub, no, it should redirect, my understanding now. It never used to, but over recent years, they started redirecting. So that's pretty good. If you have any automation and hooks and other things tied up, it potentially could break. And GitHub pages, the URL will change, is my understanding as well. So that might not redirect. So you have to check and see. Tom, awesome to have you here. Tom reviews so many of these submitted projects and profiles and so forth. So big shout out to Tom. Tom, I'm not sure what you mean. Can you deploy to 2 different environments? yes, you could have 2 actions or even a single action with 2 steps that deploys to 2 different environments if you wanted to. So yeah, that's absolutely possible. If you have a specific deployment process and platform in mind, let us know. I love the support, Marcus. You're always being super supportive on Twitter and on live stream as well. That's great. Okay, so who do we have next? People who know me know that every time the chat moves and we pick up the next repo, they need to submit their numbers again. So people, you can definitely see they've been around. But I did see Debbie's further up, so I'm going to try and I remembered that one, so I'm going to pick that one, Debbie. Yeah, me too. So let's have a look. So 3576. 3576. Okay, did that load? Yes, here we go. Perfect. Oh, it's a GitHub profile. Okay, awesome. Let's have a look.
Ooh, I knew I was going to see something awesome.
Looks great. Okay, let me drop that link in the chat as well to get a few more followers. 103. Let's see if we can get to 110 GitHub followers as well. So this is for. What are your first impressions? Obviously, really good.
This is very, very, very much Debbie. Honestly, like she's one of the most hardworking people I know on Twitter, and her work is going to reflect that.
Yeah.
So I mean, we got colors. It stands out. Like I mean, she got a border that matches her color scheme, like on her profile picture. That is wonderful. And I'm not sure how you customize those tags. But I'm in awe. Like, Debbie, please help me. This is awesome.
Me too.
Go ahead, Eddie.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, that branding with the colors and everything else is just like epic. It really is. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. Like, you guys, you're on light mode. I'm on dark mode, and it stands out even more.
Really?
Like, it's like it pops in my face. The colors, it just pops in my face, and it's like, wow, like this is really nice. That the color scheme itself is really nice. I can tell that you care about branding and all that stuff. So, and then like the favorite projects, like having a screenshot, that makes a world of a difference. Like it makes, I'm just not looking at a title and description anymore. I have a little screenshot to look at as well. It really entices me to want to click on, that project more. Because for me, I'm very visual. And so when I see something that's visually appealing, and then I'm like, okay, now what is this project about? What's the description? Cool. Like, let's go check it out. That makes me want to click through and figure out, like, okay, let me go and try to play around with this project.
Yeah, that hook, right? If you can kind of hook someone to go, what I want to learn more about this, then I think that's really, really good. So I do like it. And Debbie is part of Eddie Hub, so double thumbs up for that. Okay. We're almost at 2,000 members. Okay, cool. This is really, really good. I do like it. I'm trying to think of some like constructive criticism, but I don't think I can. Even there's 4 pinned repos. I can't even say reduce from 6 to 4 because there's only 4. I could say reduce to 2, but that just, I think 4 is still a good number. I've got one. Debbie, you need to do more code reviews. And they don't have to be on your own repos. They can be on other people's repos as well. So otherwise, like I need to work on my GitHub profile now, I think.
I'm captivated, Debbie.
Looks really good. The only thing I would wonder, wait a second, I might pick up on something. Let me see. So you've got coding notebook, yoga site, React weather app, and a quiz. And down here, coding notebook. So then you've got that kind of duplicated. So maybe that one isn't needed. And same with the yoga site. Maybe you could remove 2 to get it down to a total of 2 because they're the same up here. Again, just to make the profile a bit shorter.
I agree with that.
Just my 2 cents. Let me make a note on that.
So one thing I'm wondering after you type that in is if you go up to the descriptions, she has my GitHub stats, is a toggle. I'm wondering if that's good use of, like, should it just be shown right away, or you know what I mean? Because if I'm looking through this, I'm actually glanced over that and kept going down instead. Is that something that we should just show right away? Like, in this case, it's great to see, or is it something that you want to kind of be like, oh, if the user wants the option, they can show it or display it or not.
It's true. That's a tough one. I think I'm on the fence. I can see pros and cons to having it hidden, not having it hidden. So that's a tough one. Carl, not a long stream today. We're going for an hour and a half. We'll do, I think, a few more. I don't know how my awesome guests are doing with time. So they probably want to enjoy their Saturday. So when either of you need to go, do just say.
No, I'm good.
And what was I going to say? And I've got a live stream with Carl on Monday, by the way. Everyone, we're going to be doing SvelteKit. Carl is going to be teaching us SvelteKit, and we also have Emma as well from another mod from the EdiHub community as well. So do join us for that. Awesome. Okay, let's pick someone else from the audience. So I think we had 103, went to 107. Can we go to 110? 109. You need one more follow and get to 110. That would be
Got
awesome.
you.
That's you.
Got you.
Nice. Oh, me, yeah.
You're the follow.
I already followed, so they do 111.
You're the follow.
Oh, no, I can't do 111. That's odd numbers. I'm joking. Dropping a follow. Let's make it 11. 111. Okay, so who we got next? Let's see. Okay. Who have we got?
Wow.
I'm trying to catch up with the chat, everyone. While I'm catching up with the chat, let's see. Do either of you want to pick someone?
Lots of spamming. Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Fighting. They're
Please
fighting.
definitely don't spam.
We'll get to them, right? Like, I think the first one I saw was
It's great that you get to pick it because then I can't be blamed.
Okay, I'm scrolling up. We have dev enforcement. We have I don't know if we did that one. Susmita, and Adarsh.
Yeah, but I need one.
Okay.
Yeah, choose one.
Man, you guys putting it on me. Okay.
You volunteered to pick one.
Okay, I guess we can go with Susmita.
Okay, we have a winner. 3163. Okay, I've forgotten the number already. 3163. Okay, perfect. It's a profile. Okay. Let's have a look.
I just admire all of you for being so open to sharing your profiles.
Oh, I love it. It's awesome. Yeah. Being open is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow.
Looks good.
This is another, solid profile.
Got some GitHub actions in here as well. Look at this.
Wow.
Awesome. Okay. I think it looks really good. I love the dynamic data. I'm not a big fan of the recent activity because you can see that down below here anyway. So that part I'm not too much of a fan of. But blog post looks good, and latest YouTube videos I think is great. And the last thing I want to say before I pass on to my awesome guest is I'm not too much of a fan of visitors. I just think you can refresh the page and inflate this number. I don't know what it kind of. I don't know. I don't think it adds much value. But what do you both think?
My initial impression is that is very impressive, with a lot of content, a lot of good content as well, a lot of links, which helps, right? Because then right away a user can decide where they want to go. And I agree with the visitors. It's the same thing. I feel like when people in the profiles put the percentage of the skills they have, that they're kind of trying to say, oh, this is how good I am or whatever. And it's like, well, it's okay. Like, we don't really need to know. Like, if for yourself, that's great. But the person that's coming on, like, they just really want to know who you are and let them get to know who you are.
Yeah, it's really true. I just want to jump in and say one thing. I just noticed that I am 2 subscribers away from 28,000 on YouTube. So thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. And any of you who are watching who want to chat, you do need to subscribe. I locked down the chat to subscribers only. It's completely free. You don't have to pay anything, but you have to subscribe to get in the chat just to kind of reduce the amount of chat we get. Yes, thank you so much. Just 2 away from 28,000.
Yeah.
So close. Well, I like the description as well, and they belong to a lot of organizations. Eddie Hub, obviously. But yeah, quite a few. Wow.
I'm impressed. I love that they're able to like. It's one thing to like bring up your tech stacks, but then like another to put in like those graphics. It's easier to read, especially amongst like a bunch of other text. So I feel like a nice mix of like graphics and text is just easy on the eyes. And I don't have any complaints about this profile. It's like Debbie's, like a model profile.
Yeah, I think so. Let me leave some of these thoughts. So looks great.
I just want to say, like, on the flip side, right? Like, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of like icons and some animation stuff like that. Is for you guys, is this too much, or is it like,
Okay, guys,
folks,
thank you.
for you, yeah. For y'all,
Yes, that's fine as well.
There you go.
is this is this too much, or is it great for a GitHub profile?
I prefer them when they are a little bit on the smaller side, rather than being long and being so busy. Like, I'm not a fan of all these graphs anymore. I used to be,
Really?
but I'm not a fan of them anymore, to be honest. Because I had it on mine as well, but it always said A+. Like, it never changed for years. So if I didn't do anything, it said A+. If I did do something, it was A+. And so I just felt that there wasn't any value to it.
I see.
And then same with this graph, for example. It looks pretty cool, but it's kind of similar to what you see down here in the greens. Like, you can see this is 40 contributions on the 2nd of Feb. So it's kind of reducing, it's kind of taking time away from me looking at the more important stuff, like this sort of blog posts, YouTube videos, than the activity down here and so forth. So it's not bad. It's just, it might distract someone getting to what people want to get to, what you want them to get to, if that makes sense.
I understand. Yeah,
Go ahead, Liz.
No, I think it's important that you highlight that, because we obviously want like a very like pretty profile, and like we want to be able to showcase ourselves, and having these graphics or like these plugins do a great job at accomplishing that. But then again, like GitHub is a way to like showcase our work, and we aren't able to showcase that work when we have like these elements that are taking more of like the person who's reviewing your profile, like their attention. And so like I think, yeah, to your point, it is important to maybe just kind of cut where it's necessary, and only include what's appropriate. So like I think having those graphs, for me, I think at a glance, I would say like this person put a lot of time in the profile. And I think somebody who is able to put in time and effort into the profile, it says a lot about a person's ability to output like quality work. But yeah, back to your point, it is critical that we have the capacity to put attention on the areas that are most important. Yeah.
Yeah, I bring this up because like on website based, right, and reviewing profiles or even portfolios, like a reviewer might only have a few seconds to come on and be impressed, right, to hook them. And if you have redundant sections, then you're kind of forcing them to go down more. Like Eddie was saying from the beginning of this, right, he likes to go to the activities, and the activities are like 1, 2, like 3, almost 4 scrolls down, right? And so to get there, it took a while. Whereas if we remove some of the redundant sections, then we can get to like the latest YouTube videos quicker, latest blog posts faster, also the activities, because all the information on the top, although it is very important, like you want to show as much as you can with as little real estate as possible, because the real estate does matter. It's proven that not many people will scroll to the bottom of any website, right? So like having like two folds is going to be key, because the user will most likely not go all the way to the bottom. So shrinking it down, then you're going to ensure that your user is probably going to get down to what's all your awesome links, right? Like your recent GitHub activity, like that, like Eddie's saying, that's already down there. It's nice to have, but then latest YouTube videos, blog posts, like I may not get down there because I'm stuck at the top, clicking these links and then figuring this out, and then I might skip over that to go to activities. So that's why I bring it up, because I just feel like it is great to have, but the redundancy may be hindering like the ability for the user to actually get through all your good stuff.
Yeah, very true. I just shared it in the chat, everyone, if people want to drop a follow as well. What was I going to say? I think I've made some of those notes.
I'm curious about, I see some of the comments. And there was one that stood out to me that I would like to know. I don't know if I'm interrupting the flow by us not going top to bottom with the question.
No, this is good. Go ahead.
Yeah. Joe asked, or no, not Joe. It was.
Sorry, Joe. Apparently not you.
Sorry.
It was a bit of a tease there. Like it's almost you, but no, it's not you.
Okay, so it's like good. Okay, all right, Joe. If I'm going to grind out front end, okay, this was the question I had. So I noticed that was it this person or the thought before that, like they had put everything, like their practice projects from front end venture into one repository. And this is a question I had myself. Like, would it be better to store them separately or all into like one like mega repository?
Oh, okay, interesting. I got some views on this. Shashi, do you want to go first? Mono repo or micro repos?
For myself, I'd rather do minor repos, because then each project has its own kind of information, right? Because I feel like if you group it all into one, like if I really want to hone in on one of your projects, because to be honest, like some of your projects, a lot of the ones that you do, they may just be like your beginner stages where the code is not the best and you're still learning. I want to hone in on like, okay, narrow down on the one project that is really good. Let me see how you commit. Let me see how you work. And let me see progression. Because if it's in one, then I have to do the work to kind of potentially find out like this track for this particular project, because it's just going to be a little bit tougher for me to do that. And then at the same time, you can instead, same thing with profiles, that you can pin that great project at the top. And then I don't have any questions of like going in, like figuring out like, what are you doing here? Oh, this is just that one project that I can hone in on, I can dive into and figure out like what you've done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you want to make it easier for everybody. So I agree. I think I just wanted to highlight that. Sorry, Elise.
No, because initially I thought that it would be easier to organize, but I love what Shashi said, because with those front end mentor projects, they're all so different. And when you have them in separate repositories, you're able to highlight like the skills that you exercised. I know that each project comes with like a README, and like you're able to a README that you can kind of like use as a template and put into your repository, and you can like talk about like what technologies you use, like what problems you solved, like what you learned, big things you learned. What's it called? Anybody you want to give credit to for helping you, and you won't be able to accomplish that if we have like a mega repository. So I'm glad that I did not do that. So
I think there's pros and cons to both, because if you do micro repos, then you do have a lot of duplication in terms of maybe your GitHub actions or templates and all the rest. And yes, there are other ways to overcome that. So I kind of sometimes flip flop between the two. I'll do it one way, and I'll think, oh, it's better to do it the other way, and then I'll do it the other way for a few, and then I'll come back the other way. I won't change existing repos, but just as I go through phases. But I think having them, they both have pros and cons, like I said. But I think having them as smaller repos has more pros and less cons, in my opinion. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that because like when I think about a project, like I used to do the same thing. I used to put everything in one because it was beneficial for me, right? Until I thought about, how is this going to be beneficial for other people? And like when you think about team wise or people reviewing, right? And when you consider that, this is great for me to maintain, but it's going to be easier for them to figure out what's going on. And it is like more work for you, but then you're doing more work to make it easier for them. Because if you flip the other way around, I feel like if you put everything in one, it's easier for you, but it's harder for them to decipher what's happening. So that's how I take on projects as well, is when I'm building something or coming up with features, like how is it going to be beneficial for the team and not for me? Because I can write this, in shorthand and in all this super short code stuff, but I might be the only one that understands it, right? But if I write it in generic way, then we all can contribute to this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very true. You're right. You want to lower the barrier to entry if it's going to be a collaborative and beneficial project to more than one person. So absolutely. Okay. I just want to say that Debbie had a question. I really liked it. So Debbie says, do I have a video on how to do a code review on GitHub? I don't think I do, but I really think I should. So this is going to be added to my list. Thank you so much, Debbie. And I'd love to maybe come up with a document that we can all contribute to. And maybe I'll do a video kind of going through that document, showing some examples and making it a bit more interactive. But I'd love to get everyone's thoughts and feedback on that. So that could be interesting. So yeah, I will make a note on that and do that. So thank you so much for that, Debbie. That's great. I just got, I think $2 from Help Channel.
Wow.
You, Samin. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
It's not often you get like a tip. So I was so surprised when I saw that. I was like, what have I done wrong? Have I clicked on something wrong?
Awesome.
Because it's not often that I see that. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Okay. Shashi, do you want to pick the next one?
Sure. I'll choose the next one that gets posted in 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Dev enforcement, 3586.
Okay.
Oh, you guys are just a few seconds too late.
Ooh, I want to see dance.
You know what? That's interesting. I bet you we were delayed.
Yeah, we are delayed.
So Devin Fortune.
Oh, did I pick the wrong one? Oh, sorry, did I pick the wrong one? But that's what the number you read, right?
Was it 30? What did I read to you? 35.
You read 3586.
Yep, 3586. Yep.
Okay, I didn't pick the wrong one. But yeah, there is a delay going to YouTube. By the way, I just want to say I'm not going to talk about hitting my the 28,000 because when I did, I lost 5. So it worked against me. So I haven't got 2 more to go. I've now got like 8 more to go.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh no.
Okay, we'll do this one.
Okay.
And we won't spend too long on it as well. Okay. So what do you all think? What are your first impressions? I can tell it's a Discord bot.
Yes.
That's good.
I would love to know the technologies used for this project.
Oh yeah, it doesn't say it right away, right? It just says with the languages it says CSS, JavaScript, EJS, but let's go down here. Long time purpose.
What have we got?
Links.
Website, invite, FAQs. I would like to see a screenshot. I know it might be of a discussion or a console log or something. But I don't know. I'd love to see a screenshot of it.
I agree.
It might not be like a UI screenshot, but I still want to see a screenshot. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
And I mean, right away at the top right, all I see is Discord bot, Discord bot, Discord bot. Like it's redundant 3 times. Like the description, the link, and the tags. Like I feel like the description could be more. It could be different because you already have the tag there, and um, I kind of know what that is right away. So be a little bit more descriptive of like what kind of bot is this? Like what is it going to accomplish? Because all I know is that it's a bot, but what does it do?
Do you think it's a bot for Discord? Sorry, bad joke, bad joke. But you're right. What does the bot do? Like, is it for managing users, members?
Yeah.
Is it multi-purpose? But yeah, interested to know what.
Yeah, what is that? Like I don't
This
know. I,
is
I have to dig in, right? You're making me work, and I don't like. You want your user, like you were saying earlier, you want to make it easier for the user to understand like what kind of bot, what's the purpose of it, what's the capabilities of this, because then it will draw me in more to actually want to find out. Like I don't, if it's just a bot and I'm not really, I just like, oh, now I have to find out what it is. Like, I don't know if I want to.
It makes sense. And the wiki is not used, so I want to say remove wiki.
There are no tags.
No tags, yes. Okay. My releases tag is rubbing off on people.
Only one branch, which is the master branch. Oh,
That's not so bad though. I can make my peace with that. 1 or 2 branches are not too bad if everything goes through a pull request.
Only have one issue. No, one pull request only.
No closed issues. So they need to use, like if people want their projects discovered, you need to use issues and labels, because when people search up here, the whole of GitHub, like if you haven't got any issues and labels, they can't find your projects. So yeah, definitely a good suggestion. I'm gonna write that down. Thank you.
That's a good point, Eddie. Can you tell us more about that? Like how when you're searching and how important that is?
Sure. So people search the whole of GitHub. So when you go to issues at the top, first it lists the ones I've created or assigned to me, so on. You can delete all that, and then you can search the whole of GitHub. For example, like good first issue or something like that. So if I search here for good first issue, the whole of GitHub, it's going to come up with quite a few issues, and then I could filter by language if I wanted to, and filter further and further. My point is, these are searching labels on issues. And so if a repo isn't using issues and labels, then it's not going to appear in this list and be discovered. And also when people come to it and they go, oh, I want to work on this project, I like it, I haven't got any ideas of what I can contribute to it. Then we see what issues they need doing. And if there aren't any that need doing, then they might just, like you said, you're making them work for it and might just move away. Also, a tip I always give to people before they contribute to a project is check not only the insights, that's a really good one to do, and then the community standards. And you can see it's got no code of conduct, so there's a contribution someone could make. It's got no contributing file, no license. So, but the one thing I tell people to do before they contribute to a project is check the closed pull request. And I don't mean closed and merged. This is closed and merged because it's purple. I mean the red ones, the ones that are closed and weren't merged, and to see if they were done in a friendly way, because unfortunately there are a few projects that aren't so friendly, and it's quite off-putting if you're contributing and someone just closes it without giving a reply or a reason why and so on. So you definitely want to contribute to the projects that have a code of conduct, and you can see some activity. So if there isn't any here, then I do worry. That's my only thought. I'm quite thick-skinned, so if I wanted to make a contribution, I'd do it anyway. In worst case, they closed it. If it was a small contribution, I wouldn't mind. But imagine you spend like hours on something and they close it and you thought it was a really good contribution. And yeah, it's not so great. Just my thoughts. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, it does. I want to hear from Alyssa's take because she's more of the junior, and so I would like what Eddie was explaining. Did that resonate with you, and does it make sense? Like because like when I'm looking, like when I have an issue, right? Sometimes I will come on GitHub and search for issues, and it does help to have labels and all that stuff because it'll allow me to find answers to my issue quicker. But I also want to hear from your take as well.
I guess like my biggest question is like, and for the audience, like, are we able to like see an example of this? Like, how can we could just do like yeah, just a brief example, like visually for everybody, and for me, because I don't think I have any tags on my profile.
So you're talking about, so when I can't do it on, I have to do it on my repo, 1 second. So if I go to issues, and we've got like we've got these issues and they've got certain labels. So if I pick an issue, for example, and I can add different issues, different labels, sorry, to it. So is it a bug? Is it a discussion? And so on. And when people search GitHub, so if I search GitHub for good first issue, then it's going to display all these issues that are on GitHub that have that label. I mean, I can also filter by another, I mean, I probably could filter by Python as well. Oh, it removed my other label. I can go label good first issue. And now it's filtering by good first issue and Python, but people can't discover other people's projects if it hasn't got an issue created and also relevant labels as well. So that's why it's important. Everyone seems to make their own labels, but I try and use what do we use in EdiHub? I think someone in the chat will help me. We use conventional commit messages. I think we use conventional label standards or something. So basically all the open source standards we try and use in EdiHub. So therefore we're not reinventing the wheel every time. But that's why I think even if it's only one person like ourselves on our project, we should use issues and we should use labels as much as possible.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate
but
that.
I don't know if you agree or not.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I have to. I'm wondering what tags are important to include.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a hard one. So,
like, if I were to go like on my profile, I wouldn't know how to tag it outside of like languages, really.
So yes, so what we can do, if I go to my labels, we've got 52. And some of these are the original ones. I think these were created by GitHub when you open the repo. And some of them are custom. The ones with the like the icons at the front are the custom ones. So they fall into different categories. And we've got some new ones. These because this repo is kind of what's the glue holding EdiHub together. We've got invite me to the organization and live stream and stuff. So we have some extra ones. But I don't know. I think that makes a really good video actually, or a really good discussion. Like, what are the good ones? Like, we have points. So instead of time, we try and differentiate points for people. So therefore, to give an example, say if someone wanted to come and contribute to the project, and they had done a 1-pointer before, it doesn't matter how long that took or how much effort that was. We've given another ticket 2 points. All that means is we think this ticket is twice as hard as a 1-pointer. Generally speaking, in terms of risk, unknowns, effort involved, and all the rest. So it's not just about time, because time for one person is different for another person as well. So we try and point them relative. So therefore, someone might not know what a 2 effort is required, and that's fine, but they know it's easier than a 3. So they can kind of try and pick a task that's easier, is what I'm trying to say. And then we have priorities as well. Sometimes they're critical, sometimes they're not. And we have like discussions and questions, but we've moved that actually to the discussions part on in the repo, because that's like so much more helpful, because you can have threaded discussions and you can pick answers and all the rest. That's probably like a bad example, but I don't know if any of you use discussions, like how you can have threaded chat, like really awesome. Yeah, that's I mean, we use project board a lot as well, but I don't think there's not in this repo. It's like Trello for anyone who's not sure, but better. I think Carl has done lots of work on our project boards as well. So you have different project boards and you can create new views and so forth. And you have like, what's the word? Workflows, and it can trigger things. So if an item's closed and you can have different triggers happening and all the rest. If pull request is merged, it
Is
closes
this
the
a
issue.
part of Eddie? Is this a part of GitHub or is this an extension?
No, this is part of GitHub. It's been around for about a year now, I think.
Oh, I
I
didn't.
don't. Oh, it might be a beta feature. That's why people don't have access. If you
Got
want
it.
access, drop me a message and I can probably get you access.
That is so cool because, like, like having everything, mostly everything in one area is so much better because either you have to go use Jira or Trello. Or something else.
No. Definitely don't use Jira. Definitely use Trello.
But go ahead. Go ahead.
No, carry on.
I was just gonna say, a lot of the companies that I work for are larger, right? And they utilize Jira, and that is one reason why I have to use it and I have to learn it. But this interface and stuff looks exactly like it with the workflows and everything, and it seems a lot more streamlined. I would rather use this than going over there, right? Because then you also have two different logins and everything, and then you also have to sync it up and yada yada yada, trigger it, and like. Too much work.
Yeah, Jira is terrible for a million reasons. That's definitely a big part of it. I mean, the other part is Jira isn't designed for engineers; it's designed for the project managers. So yeah, and Debbie has been using the project boards recently and says that they're loving the beta project boards, and also Avanesh has confirmed that it's public, so everyone has access to it. So that's great.
Oh, nice.
So awesome. So do have a look at that as well. So when you go to the project board section, let me go back a couple of pages.
That is really cool.
When you go to project board, you might default to the traditional project boards, which is like Trello, and then you've got the beta ones, which has like a lot more going on. So you can just customize it as much as you kind of want, and like it's pretty awesome. It's pretty good. You've got different views and you can just create new ones and so forth.
That is slick. I like that a lot.
So you can change it to a board if you prefer, so you can kind of drag and drop. Yeah. Oops, I didn't mean to create this one. Let me close this one, delete you. Don't want to mess up Carl's project boards, I might get in trouble. Let me just make a note on this one and we can move on to the next project. And maybe we're going to be the last one, I think. So, because we're going for 2 hours now. So as Carl was right, it has been a long stream. So add code of conduct. I need one of you to pick one more person.
I am really interested to see Dan's
okay.
Yeah, profile.
Let's do it.
I'm not sure if you, Dan, were you able to update the repo where they have the comments or the feedback?
Well, which Dan are you talking about?
Web Dev Dan.
We have Sid here as well from DevOps Directives. Awesome.
Hello.
Everyone go check out Sid's YouTube channel. He helped us set up our Kubernetes cluster for GitHub. So we have all the automatic deployments going from our GitHub repos to our Kubernetes cluster on DigitalOcean was set up by Sid. So thank you so much. And we did that on the live stream, and then I created a video from that as well, which is actually one of my best videos. So Sid, we need to do some more on that because that's working really well for me. So I need you to teach me so I can then make a video on it. Okay, Dan needs a moment, so we'll come back to Dan's in a minute. Let's pick another profile. So I've jumped in and I've picked Produma's, which is 3583. Okay. Look. What are you thinking? Or Twitter followers? Okay, cool.
It looks good. I really like that they highlighted their blog posts
with the picture as well. That's really nice.
Yeah. And I going back to one of the first things you said, like exercising like that space usage. Instead of like, yeah, I think this is great. I wonder if it would be, I don't know what the order is, but like, I know that I feel like the work should be prioritized over the blog posts, right? Like
when you say the work, which one do you mean?
Like the languages, tools, maybe, or
okay.
Or like projects. But it is important to highlight, like, because blogs are a good way of like showcasing what you know, because you can't write about something if you don't know about something, right? So yeah.
Yeah, but it does look really good. But you're right. Maybe move the languages to the top, and
Yeah, I always want to think of like priority.
I
yeah,
also want to preface this, like, I know that it looks like he's a app developer, but what if he wanted to showcase his blogs because he wanted to be a technical writer and he wanted those items to be at the top?
or in
Uh,
DevRel.
or in DevRel, right? So like it really, like, that's why where I come in and I say, hey, like, what is the role that you're trying to you have or you want to achieve, because then that's the title that you should give yourself, and that's how you should organize your profile. Because in this case, yeah, it could be DevRel, and that's the reason why blog's on top. But if you want to be more of an engineer or a developer, then yes, I agree with the list. Like, you should probably move your languages on top and maybe highlight projects instead of blog, because then blog is not going to be as prominent for me to review.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Agreed.
think that's you're right. It depends on the person, so that's why it's important when you want to prioritize. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm just trying to have a think as well, thinking of mine, thinking what changes do I need to make to mine now.
Learning a
Um,
lot.
yeah, I think I do a lot as well. But I
Oh,
do.
also, I
Oh,
did
go
see
on.
on top, like, I feel like it's extremely important when you're showcasing your work that like everything's spelled correctly, which sounds very minute or like very trivial, but
No,
like
I think it's important, definitely.
your I just see like that typo, like the related stuff. Like this tells me that I feel like when you're not
Oh
thorough
yeah,
enough, and I've heard even like employers talk about like, or I've heard employers say like, if I see a typo in somebody, and it sounds like, again, like, it sounds trivial, but like being able to uh, go like being able to like have like those mistakes checked goes a long way, because like when you put something out there and you have these tiny mistakes, it tells the person like a unsaid message that like I haven't reviewed this enough, and like that would reflect upon your work. And in the development world, that could mean everything. Like that could like break a code base, right, if we're not paying attention. And so like uh yeah, making sure, like, double checking, triple checking to make sure that like, is this something that I'm proud of showing, um and not to say like that's reflective of this profile, because it's just literally like one word, right?
well,
um
if anyone needs a green square, you can click on the top here. You can raise an issue to say there's a typo. You can get a green square, and then I bet you Chris has done it already, and you can go in and raise a pull request and fix it. So if anyone needs any green squares, go ahead. There's three there for you. So raising an issue, the commit, and the pull request. Three green squares. Remember to share. Well, let me share a link in the chat. Sorry, I forgot to do this before.
so, yeah, I but otherwise this is a great profile. What does that say? Watch my contribution get
Yeah,
nicely.
I was gonna talk about this. Like
Oh,
this,
me too.
like,
Yeah.
it's cool, but I don't think it's necessary. Um, I don't know what you guys think. What do y'all think?
My
Thank
brain.
you.
But I don't know. For me, I'm just like, this is creative. Like this stands out to me, and I think these, like, even though they can be like unnecessary, and maybe I'm just a junior, like I don't have any real perspective. But for me, if everybody's profile kind of like looks the same, then I want to think of things that stand out. And I feel like this person, I'm gonna go about my day, and I'm gonna think like, oh, that person who has like this like little nuance, or like this little token in their profile, I'll go back to it. So I feel like if you have one thing that is very unique, like what like the previous one portfolio reviews, not portfolio, Shashi, previous GitHub reviews, like the guy who had the selfie, right? I think of ones that I can remember, like Debbie, her color scheme was very memorable. And for
Yeah.
this, like have one thing that is unique. Like, and I think that would be good.
True. I think the first time I saw this, I should say, yeah, I thought it was cool, it was quirky, it was fun, and I remembered it. But now having seen it so many times, it's the opposite for me. I don't even look at it. I just literally, when I go over it, in my mind, automatically just removes it out. Same with these, if I'm honest, same with these types of graphs. Like, I don't even look at them now. I literally would go like this and just skip straight over that. So yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, Alice, but I'm going to disagree and say that after you've seen it 100 times, it's like, okay, I don't want to kind of see it anymore.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, maybe I haven't seen enough, because I do see a lot of these stats, and like, to me, when I see the stats, I'm like, there's effort being put. So that's like the overall message. But yeah, to your point, like, I feel like I don't take the time to actually glaze or to like read them. Like, I just kind of glaze over it. So that's
But to
important.
agree with you as well, I think with the snake, if someone had built it themselves and it was super custom and no one else has the same thing, and I think put it in. If it's something generic that's auto generated and looks 99% the same as everyone else's,
100%.
then I don't think it's worth. Look, A plus again. I bet you we cannot find anything that's not an A plus. By the way, I've never seen anything that's not an A plus, and I've looked at a lot of profiles. So yeah. What was that? Sorry.
Oh, mine's probably not A plus, but let's not look.
Okay. So yeah, that's the only thing, and it doesn't seem to work very well in Safari. So it's the snake stops and starts and disappears and all the rest. So yeah, it's not very good. It's not the live stream. It's actually also for me.
But
just I thought on that.
Do you know what is really good is if you scroll down to the activity overview, look at the code review.
Yeah, that is epic.
That is extremely awesome. Like, that's so cool.
It's very good. You see, like, review 21 pull requests and 4 repositories. That is awesome. 15 pull requests in EddieHub. Nice. That's awesome. Cool. Let me put some comments down actually as well. I see Debbie 2 hours ago already jumped in. Nice. Love seeing the collaboration. Okay, what did we say? We like the blog post. Blog section looks amazing. What did we say?
I think we weren't sure if he
about the order, wasn't it?
Yeah, if he was going to be showcasing as a DevRel or a developer, because then that would decide, like, that would depend, like, what you should show higher.
That is an important point, right? Like, we want to showcase the work for the position that we want. Yeah.
It makes a big difference, because anybody reviewing, like, remember, they have just a few seconds to kind of glance and figure out if they want to help contribute to your projects, or if they want to hire you or anything. To have it higher up, then it allows the user to see the important stuff right away. By me seeing this, like, I think of a content writer, technical writer, or a DevRel, right? And I wouldn't be thinking engineer right away.
Great question from Marcus, and this is something I talk about all the time, so I'd love to hear both of your opinions. Are you both okay for a few more minutes still?
Oh, yeah. Of course, yeah, we're good.
Sure. Like I said, when you need to go, do say. Do recruiters or potential customers or potential clients, etc., look at the quality of the green squares, or are they only interested in the count? And sometimes they seem like green square hunting. I have some strong thoughts on this, so I'll love that for my guests to go first.
I actually have no idea. I mean, like, I was able to get what I have without my GitHub. Like, there are multiple avenues for, and it depends on, like, the employer. I would say what I can be confident in is that you are. I don't think anything could be said by a repository or like the contribution map by having as many green squares as possible. I don't think it's a fair assessment to judge somebody by, like, how often they're working completely by itself. But it is important to have like some kind of consistency. Like I'm pouring in time and I'm cultivating my skills from the get-go, and like we always want something tangible that we can like refer back to, and the GitHub squares do a good job at that. So all in all, encapsulating what I said, because I was kind of going back and forth, it doesn't hurt to do it. And maybe I'm more privy to the opinion that like you probably should have as much activity as you can.
From my take, I don't have contributions every day or even like so often because I'm more interested in the quality over the quantity. But it really depends, right? Like recruiters and some potential customers, they may be opposite. They may be like, oh, I want to see this person committing, and to them, the green squares are working every day, right? And so it's really hard to gauge and figure that out. But for myself, I would rather see the quality over the quantity. But yes, I do want to see like some obviously no big gaps and stuff like that. But I'm not particularly looking for like green squares every single day, every single month. I heard one person say, "I'm not going to hire a junior or a developer unless if I see green squares for the entire 6 months." And I was like, okay, like that's a lot. But at the same time, like you have to find the balance too, right? We have lives too, and to have like one gap, like right now, if you go down to like December 1st, there's no commits there. Like what happened? Like it doesn't matter what happened. Like they just probably took a break. But I've also heard some people be very picky and particular about it. I'm not one that is. I would rather see the quality. Like if I come down here, I see the contributions, great. Then I'm gonna go and see the projects, right? That's what's gonna really matter. And like what Eddie was saying too, like I want to see the code reviews. I want to see the quality of the code reviews. I want to see the quality of the code. I want to see just the quality of interactions and stuff because you can't gauge that in the green squares. It may be really bright green, but it may be 7 one-line commits, right? If that was the
Yeah.
case, I would commit every single day and just change the same file.
Right.
And people
And then
do
that'll
that.
count the same. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just really depends, like what you're looking for, right? Like if you're looking for open source contributions or wanting to get into a process, yeah, it's probably gonna matter more. But opposed to that, then like I'm quality over quantity.
Definitely. I think to kind of play a little bit of devil's advocate here, I think it's a good first impression. So when someone comes to your profile and you've got, I don't know, I don't want to say a lot of green because a lot isn't important, but a noticeable amount of green, then I think they'll dig deeper. But when it looks, say, there's only, I don't know, 10 green squares throughout the whole year, they might not look any further. They might be the most amazing 10 green squares or what's behind them, let's say, is really important, but they might not look further. The way I think of it is if you're going to go buy a car and you've got two cars that are very similar, but one is dirty, but it might be newer in better condition, but just looks dirty. Another one looks clean. You're going to naturally gravitate to the cleaner car. So I think if there is an evenly spread out kind of greenish garden on your GitHub profile, it doesn't mean that person's any better or anything else, but it's just that first impression that the hiring manager, the recruiter, or whatever it is. I'm still definitely going to look deeper. I'm always going to go look deeper. I'm not going to hire on. Oh, this person's got 4,000 green squares this year. They're hired. Absolutely not. Definitely going to look and what, because they could just have a GitHub action that's just creating a green square like 10 times a day. And people have done that. And there are GitHub actions that you can copy and paste and do that for you. And if anyone does do that, by the way, as soon as I see anything like that, I just leave. Yeah. It's it. Even if their other green squares that they've done properly are amazing, I've probably checked out by then because I think, okay, they're trying to cheat the system, and I'm gone. So definitely don't do that. I would rather see less green squares, but they're more authentic and at a better quality, as mentioned.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
But I hope that helps. So yeah, it's just that first impression. But again, you could counterbalance that first impression with a really good customized GitHub profile. Again, I can't remember what Debbie's activity looked like, but I like Elise said, I remember the color was all the same all over with the profile
Yeah.
picture and the badges. And so for me, that was a really good impression. So you can make a good first impression a different way. It doesn't have to just be green squares.
100%. I love that. Yeah.
Really great question and discussion. I'm thinking
Yeah,
of
thanks,
some more
Marcus.
YouTube videos now. But these are all really good things, and they're questions that come up a lot, but I don't always have like such a good answer. But with both of you, giving different perspectives, again, I think, Elise, you said, oh, you're new to tech and so on, but that adds so much value because you bring a different perspective, right? You've got a different background, you've got a different experience. So that really adds, so everyone who's watching, please don't prepend your answers with, don't belittle your answers because your answers add so much value. And I think that's really important. Okay, so can we just do maybe one more? Krish asked to get feedback on their profile from both of you. I've reviewed it before, and they want your feedback. And Krish does supports a lot of people in EddyHub, so I'm really, really keen to get theirs. If you're able to do one more. Krish, what's the number, please?
3584.
And Emma is late to the party.
Emma.
Hi, Emma. Awesome to have you here. 3584. Okay. But Paduma, I hope that helps as well. 35084. 2 hours ago. Okay. I'm not going to say very much. I'll let both of you speak and give your thoughts.
There we go. See that it's just that one thing that like stands out. Like this, this header is great. I wish there was more. Yeah, this is good. There's something about the header that like stands out.
For an 8th grader, come on. Like,
Yes.
come on.
Hold on.
This is amazing for an 8th grader.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm impressed. I'm blown away, man.
Oh man, like, oh yeah.
And
when you put that in context, it's just like it's better than someone, like it's already better than some of the profiles we looked at, and he's so young and so involved, and like when I see this, like I see potential and I see drive and I see someone that really wants to succeed and just go further in development and engineering. So
yeah, keep going, definitely, Krish. That's awesome. And these are.
I'm a huge fan of like these pop outs because like it doesn't force the person to look at it. It gives them the option.
True. Because I don't like these, but like you're saying, it's optional. They're minimized, so I could just skip over it. So that's a really good point. Yeah, I like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing too. It's really nice because you can get down to the activities and stuff way faster, right? And it gives me the option to be like, oh, am I interested in knowing more about you? Oh yeah, I am. Let's look at your GitHub stats, right? Then you can do that without forcing me to see it. I have the option to do that. And in this case, it makes a lot of sense because I'm a person that wants to see projects right away, right? I can get there quicker. And then I'm like, hey, you know what? Let me find out more about this person, more about, I can go and find more about that person at the top by just clicking the drop down. So I feel like in this case, it works really well.
Yeah, I think it's really good, Krish. I think I've seen a few iterations of this, and it's definitely getting better and better every time. That's why I say to everybody, don't try and think, oh, you got to get it perfect first time. It's a living project that you're just going to keep updating and tweaking and so forth. So yeah, it's awesome. And you've got lots of code reviews as well.
The one feedback I would have is if you go back to the top and click on more about me, when you expand that, I like those icons to be indented because right now, if you open it, it looks like now it's you have, like it's a part of the original parents, right? And it's not. It's like indented in. Like my eye just kind of gets mixed in, and I'm like, oh, what is this again? But if you indent it more, like a list item, then it makes sense. Then it's like, oh, okay, it's a part of the more.
Yeah, and this is one criticism. Like I love that he's learning everything, but like, what is everything, right? Like, are you learning how to paint? Like, tell me what technologies you're using or focusing on. We can always update from there. But yeah, being able to be succinct about what we're focusing on would add a lot of value.
Krish asked, should they add LinkedIn or not? I think so. I think if you've got a LinkedIn link, then do add it to your profile.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's great.
Awesome. Okay. I got to give a big shout out to my amazing 2 guests, and thank you for all of you who have been watching. I really appreciate you all getting involved in the conversation, providing support and feedback to us as well. But a big shout out to Shashi. Oh my God, I'm trying to pronounce his name. Okay, it is, in my defense, it is Sunday for me already. And Elise, yeah, I got those right. Elise. Sorry, beg your pardon. Damn, I was doing better before. I shouldn't have said anything.
You know what? We are going to work on it. Like I said, we got
Let's
this.
do it. More calls, and then we'll fix both. I get both those names right. But in my defense, I get Sarah's name wrong after 22 years. I'm looking at Sarah, 21, 22 years. It's Sarah didn't correct me for like 5 years. So when we went to Portugal to visit her family, and I said, "Where's Sarah?" And they're like, "Who?" And they went, "Your daughter," and they went, "Oh, Sarah." I'm like, "That's what I said," and there's actually like, so it's quite, yeah.
I feel you. You know what? Totally forgivable. Totally forgivable.
Thank you. See, forgivable, Sarah, forgivable.
She's just rolling her eyes right now.
You can't hear. I got my headphones on, so you can't hear me. But no, thank you both so much for understanding and providing your time to come and help review these, because this takes a lot of time, and I really, really appreciate it. I'm going to drop your links again in the chat. Everyone that is in the description below, let me drop it in the chat. But while I'm doing that, if you could both just, I don't know, share some closing thoughts from yourselves and a bit about yourself, and then why people could drop you a follow on Twitter as well, to what you share, kind of what sort of things you share on Twitter and so forth. And I'm going to get your Twitter.
All right, go ahead, Shashi.
Well, first off, I just want to say that we are amongst a celebrity, because Eddie was named GitHub star again. So congratulations to that, first and foremost. And then for myself, I've been more active on Twitter. My handle is just Twitter. It's just Shashi Who Codes. I've just been, really helping junior developers break into tech by providing content, by doing portfolio reviews every Friday, and just by answering questions as where I can. So that's kind of been my passion, and something that I've been really wanting to do. So if you want to know more, you can definitely just visit my profile and kind of see the things that I've been contributing to and just been helping out at. But yeah, that's just a little bit about myself.
Yeah.
And just saying, I'm sorry. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you for having me on here. It's been awesome to get the 3 different perspectives. It's very enlightening to kind of have that, because we have good discussions, right? Like if we're all the same, it's just going to be the same kind of review. But as we're going deep in, it was really awesome to kind of see the 3 of us talk about a particular feature or talk about a particular item in different angles, and I think that resonates really well with a lot of people.
Yeah, I love that. It's so true. I love seeing the different perspectives. I want to get more people on my channel this year. It's my goal. I want to share those different perspectives. And again, I'm not saying senior, junior, whatever. It just doesn't matter. I just want their perspective, and I want to share their story and so forth. So yes, people, do let me know if you want to join me. Elise, you're up next. I pronounced it right. That's correct, right?
This is it. This is the promised land. We're here. Yeah, thank you so much, Eddie, for hosting us. I feel like, I don't know, I've learned so much just being on the stream, and like having to review different profiles gives me perspective on like what I can do, implement in my profile. I'm pretty sure that everybody in the audience can, say that themselves, because there are things that I saw in people's profiles that I thought that, would be really good to have. And then I would have copied it. But because, we brought it to light, and we were able to like talk about why it gives it value, why it doesn't give it value, then, it gives me action steps, and I'm super duper grateful for that. But yeah, like I had a blast, and I need to put a little bit more love in my GitHub profile, because I think I've just been like so zeroed on and like focusing on like the basics. And I guess it's hard because when you have like a job, or like you're anticipating a role, it's easy to kind of like take away, like not put enough tension on that, on like your profiles, because like your profiles are there to attract like potential employers. But like, no, like I think it's important to have like that maintenance over time, because it says that you still care and you're prepared for the future, because anything can happen, right? So yeah, I gained so much value, and of course from you, experienced developers, I'm so grateful to be on the stream, and thank you everyone for coming, and I hope to see more of these. I really love Eddie's take on uh, like his choice to bring on different engineers and like developers, because it is really, really important to get like those different perspectives, because I'm a junior developer, but like at the same time, like I've worked like 6 years in like the psychology industry, and so like I'm able to give that fresh perspective. So who's to say somebody who worked like in the restaurant industry has something unique? Like we always want to bring something like different, so that with each stream there is something that can be taken away. So I thank you. And yeah, Shashi I was going to say Shashi undersold himself, because he does so much for the Twitter community. He changes this up, and like Eddie himself, like he does like a lot of things in terms of GitHub. So if you want to like up your game, please. Yeah, I'm sure everybody already follows you, both of you, so I don't have to showcase you again, but you guys are like truly like passionate about what you do, and it's important to bring that to the world, because like we need more passionate people who care about what they do, and you guys are doing an amazing job at doing that.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I saw the message from Krish saying, can I refresh his page? He's very fast. He's fixed it already, indented as suggested. So I love that. Maybe someone, if they need a green square, can raise an issue and kind of backdate it, as it were. But yes, no, that's awesome. Looks good. Thank you both again so much. I know you've got your Saturday to enjoy, and we always talk about kind of work-life balance. So I really appreciate it. I did share your Twitters in the chat a few moments ago, but everyone is in the description below. Drop them a follow, see what awesome things they're up to. Krish, I think you're almost at 100. We've got you, I think 5 more or so followers on GitHub. So Krish, you're almost at 100. Let me do one more refresh to see if you've got any closer. You need 2 more to get to 100, Krish. So you're almost there. Thank you again so much. Have a great Saturday, great weekend, and hopefully we'll do this again soon on a live stream or on Twitter Space. Have a great weekend, and we'll geek out again soon. I'm going to bring up the holding page for 30 seconds, and if you both don't mind holding on, I just want to thank you personally afterwards as well. But thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. We'll give you a wave. Goodbye. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.
Folks, or you're all, what was it? You're all, yeah.
Sorry. Goodbye, folks.
It's okay. We'll get there. Bye.